Hey there, everybody. So it's almost October. You know what that means? Halloween! Obviously, we all love Halloween movies. We all love horror movies. We've all seen pretty much all of them. But I thought it would be kind of fun to do a little pre-Halloween recommendation list of things that are a little bit more obscure that you might want to hunt down. And fair warning, there's more than one musical on this list. So if that's a deal breaker for you, these movies are in no particular order. I try to stay away from things that are super duper well known. I'm obviously not going to tell you to go out and watch all the Child's Play movies and something like this, although I could very easily talk for a long time about them. I may or may not have written a paper about Chucky in college, and I got an A on it. So there will probably be things you've heard of if you're a horror buff, but I'd like to think that they're things that are a little more off the beaten path. Again, in no particular order. Let's get started. Number 1, Trick or Treat. So I'm doing this one first because it's kind of a cheat, because I feel like it's pretty well known among horror aficionado people, but I also know a lot of people who have never heard of it, and if you have not seen Trick or Treat, you need to go see Trick or Treat right now. Like, stop this video, go find Trick or Treat. It is one of my favorite Halloween movies ever made. Basically, think of it as a Halloween-based version of Creepshow, with a little bit more intertextuality between all of the stories. They all kind of fade in and out of each other. And Trick or Treat, see it. I'm not going to say much more than that because it's amazing, and also because it's kind of a cheat on this list. Moving on. The Bride.
You didn't create me! You didn't create me!
As a matter of fact, I did.
The Bride.
Okay, so this one isn't a straight up horror movie. It was a remake, or I guess movie inspired by The Bride of Frankenstein that they made in the 80s. Dr. Frankenstein is played by Sting, and the Bride of Frankenstein is played by Jennifer Beals from Flashdance. So it's very 80s, like a gothic melodrama. It's really great. It's really evocative. Like, if you enjoy the aesthetic of Interview with a Vampire and stuff like that, you'll probably enjoy it. Or if you're like me and you're a hardcore Frankenstein person, because, spoilers, the monster and his mate live happily ever after in the end, and it makes me swoon and cry, and I just have a lot of feelings about it. Next up, Ginger Snaps.
Ginger snaps and bites.
We're almost not even related anymore.
So, it's about a pair of sisters named Bridget and Ginger. They're very close, they're kind of gothy, they like to stage fake deaths around their house and take photos of them. But recently, Ginger has been kind of drifting away from Bridget because she's been having all of these strange changes in her body. She's growing hair in places she didn't have it before. She's got all of these sexual feelings that she doesn't know what to do with. And she also feels the need to eat dogs and is growing a tail because Ginger's going through the change of life into a werewolf. So yeah, this one is rad. The two leads are Emily Perkins and one of my favorite, horror actresses of all time, Catherine Isabel, Be Still My Heart. They're phenomenal in this movie. They play off of each other really well. Really good. It's got a really interesting kind of quirky, offbeat sense of humor. It meant a lot to me when I was a teenager. It still means a lot to me now. Next up, Carrie.
Carrie.
Sin never dies.
Now I know what you're thinking. I said I was going to talk about movies that were kind of underrated or underknown, and Carrie is a classic, right? But I'm not talking about the film from 1976 with Sissy Spacek, nor am I talking about the film from last year with Chloe Moretz. I'm talking about the made-for-TV one from 2002 with Angela Batiste as Carrie. It's got Catherine Isabelle in it. And Carrie's mother is played by frickin' Patricia Clarkson, which is amazing. It's probably the most faithful of the 3 film adaptations to the book, which in some ways is a blessing, in some ways is kind of a hindrance. The effects are very made for TV in the early 2000s, so it's very interesting just to kind of look at it in comparison with the version from the 70s and the new version. I'm really into Carrie as a story and all the kind of different versions that have been done of it. So that's definitely one to look at if you're a fan of the original or the book or the new one or any other iteration of Carrie that you enjoy. The Countess.
God, is it wrong to want to stay beautiful?
Okay, so this one isn't a horror movie exactly. It's kind of a historical film, but it is about Elizabeth Bathory, who is also commonly called Elizabeth Bathory, who is the noblewoman who bathed in the blood of virgins to attempt to keep her youth and beauty. Most of the time when you see stuff that's about Elizabeth Bathory, it's either makes her a straight up vampire or plays very fast and loose with the truth. This film is really, really clearly trying to be as faithful to her real life as possible, but it definitely has horror elements because she actually did bathe in the blood of virgins because she was actually kind of crazy. Interested in her as a character, or you like costume dramas, and you're looking for kind of a spookier take on that for this season, I would definitely check out The Countess. It's on Netflix instant streaming right now, so that's definitely one I would give a watch. Is the next recommendation, which is Stage Fright.
There's a killer in the theater!
So Stage Fright, I feel like, is going to have a very specific audience. Okay, so Stage Fright is essentially if Sleepaway Camp and High School Musical had a baby. It is a musical slasher movie set at a summer theater camp with all original songs and Meatloaf. And isn't anything better with the presence of Meatloaf? There's something kind of bizarre and weird and amazing about it. So if you're like me and you're one of the 5 people in the world that loves horror movies and loves musicals, definitely check it out. Also on Netflix streaming at the moment. Parents.
Now, there's a new name for terror. Parents.
Yet another 50s themed horror movie. I really dig these. It's about a little boy who finds out that his very Leave It to Beaver looking existence is not exactly what he thought it was because his square parents are actually cannibals. It's got Randy Quaid at his nuttiest and most Randy Quaid-y, so I feel like I'm the only person who ever talks about it, but it's really fun, it's really good. Again, if you are interested in 50s Americana or just fun, kind of offbeat, sort of quirky things, I would definitely check it out. And last but not least, the pinnacle of human achievement, Carrie the Musical.
I tried so hard to play their way. Why do they find it so hard to say? Carrie, why do they always treat me so bad?
So if you're not a Broadway nerd like me, you might not be familiar with this one, and even if you are, you probably only know it as a footnote. So in the 80s, somebody decided it would be a great idea to make a musical out of the 1976 Brian De Palma film of Carrie. And in Broadway circles, it's pretty renowned because up until Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark, it was pretty much the biggest turkey in Broadway history. It only ran for 5 performances. Critics just hated it. But it's also kind of amazing in the same way that Showgirls is kind of amazing, so make of that what you will. It features a bunch of really talented actresses and has some moments of like actual like genuine amazingness. It'll like reach these amazing highs.
Father, don't forsake her, Mother, take her, cleanse and purify her with the fire and the power and the glory forever and ever and ever.
And then
If I was your daddy, I would buy you a shrink. But okay, I'll do it. You're my inspiration.
yeah, I don't really know what to tell you there. Carrie's destruction at the end is symbolized via a laser light show. Everybody looks like they should be in a production of Xanadu or Starlight Express as opposed to Carrie. It's basically just everything about it is so wrong that it becomes the best thing. Look at this. Look at this. This is amazing. So yeah, if you want to watch something truly horrifying, Carrie the Musical. That's my random assortment of movies you might want to check out this October. If you ever have any particular curiosities about film types or anything like that that you want me to talk about, or if you genuinely do want to hear me talk obsessively about the Child's Play movies, or if you want to hear why I think Showgirls is a feminist polemic, then, you know, just comment down there and I'll see what I can do for you guys. Alright, until next time, unpleasant dreams.